At this point, it just looks like Ubisoft blatantly hates the Japanese. They are stealing from them. They are trying to destroy their culture. They are misrepresenting and trying to rewrite their history. And now they just set the bar even lower.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is in trouble again, specifically with Japan. And they claim that they hired a bunch of consultants. They talk about it in this article, which is from just last week, when they talked about how they apologized to Japan and said they were taking this real serious.
Apologize to Japan. We saw the apology. That wasn't an apology. That was, well, we know you don't like what we're doing and we're blatantly kind of destroying your culture and, doing all sorts of bad things like that. But we just want you to know we don't actually care. That wasn't an apology. That was a blatant statement of we don't care, what up.
They're taking it real serious. They want to get everything right. Well, they messed up again. So we have this figure here. Looks like a Funko Pop. Maybe it is. Oh, this is from Pure Arts. Well, Japanese people aren't happy with this.
Yeah, you can probably, a lot of you probably can recognize what this is most likely supposed to represent. And spoiler alert, yeah, it exactly represents what you think.
And the reason they're not happy with it is because of this little gate. It's called a Torii gate. So the reason they're mad about this is because it's a broken Torii gate. Now,
yeah,
the significance of that is that it represents the way a gate looks in Nagasaki.
Yeah.
After
that's a place. You probably know why it's a place. One of two places.
Got hit by an atomic bomb. It got destroyed, and I believe it still stands. Yeah, there it is right here.
A monument.
As a reminder of the war. Now, these are important in Japan when they're complete because they're usually, I did a little bit of reading on it, but they're usually represented as something like the gods can come through in front of a shrine.
Hey, you know what? At least this is not the worst situation possible, because the black one could have been sitting on it. Instead, it's just a twink sitting on the broken thing. Yeah. Hey, at least it's not different, okay? At least he's not trying to tear it down, but, still, you're gonna enjoy the Ubisoft experience of going through a Japanese town, and if someone doesn't bow to you, you just valiantly crush their head with your foot, because, no one disrespects the true emperor of Japan, Yasuke. The first black, no, actually not the first black lord of the Japan. The blacks made Japan. We all know that this is secret history that they don't want us to know about. Japan has no history. It was all created by the black power. What am I supposed to call it in this case? Anyway, you get the point. Disgusting.
Like that. I'm not a Japanese cultural expert.
Why don't they do games about the Africa? There's things there's literally nothing in Africa. Everyone knows that. Stop fucking lying, okay? There's a bunch of stories you could do about Africa, but they pretty much all start with someone enslaving it, and spoiler alert, it's someone with a black skin color enslaving other people with black skin color, and it ends with someone else just doing the same thing. There's not a lot of stories that can be told there. And for everyone who wants to say, oh, why do you care? It's just a game. I want to hear you say that when there's a game about Africa where you are the white warlord that's going to take over the country. I want to hear you not say anything about that when that happens, okay? Let's be completely fucking fair here.
Expert. And I would never, unlike the people they hired, claim to be one so I could get a job doing shit for a video game. But these people have no idea what's going on. Now, to be fair, as someone points out in here, and they do at least bring this up, and I'm glad they did, there are broken gates in other places outside of Nagasaki. I mean, there's stuff otherwhere. They have it right here. Even if unintentional, the one-leg Tory is a reminder of the devastation caused by the Nagasaki atomic bomb.
It cannot be non-intentional because the reality here is, well, very simple, right? Do you honestly think if they're Googling things about Japan, they're gonna find any other gate like that? No, no, this is 100% intended.
So the use of this design was undesirable and should have been avoided if possible. If that's the argument, I agree. And that's the person responding to the guy saying, there are other broken gates around, but I mean, you hired cultural experts. So
Who have never lived or been in Japan, by the way. Literally, you watching anime makes you probably a better cultural expert than the one that Ubisoft hired. I'll let that sink in for a minute.
They should have told you that doing this is not a good idea. What are you doing? I mean, I would imagine they're probably pretty sensitive about it. I mean, obviously, we're on good terms now with the country. America and Japan are very close, good friends, best of buds now. But
it's true. Who do you think saved Trump from those two shootings? That's right. Abe is looking down and protecting everyone.
It's still a pretty sore subject. And, I mean, it was a pretty shitty thing that happened. I'm not defending or disavowing what happened. It was a time of war. It is what it is, but we have moved past it. But it's still something that they don't really want shoved in their face, and it's kind of insulting. And they're upset about it. I mean, this is the post that...
Oh, shit, this is insulting. Well, everything that Ubisoft has been doing surrounding this has been probably nothing but insulting for the Japanese. It's hilarious. And the best part is, think about this. That people have been begging for an Assassin's Creed in Japan. Or China or any Asian country, really, okay? Malaysia would probably do fine with all the lady boys, okay? And that's it. People have been begging. This honestly should have been a game that sells billions. Okay, this should have been legitimately a game that sells hundreds of millions of goddamn copies. Everyone has been begging for this. And what does Ubisoft do? They vocify the living hell out of existence. One of the most profitable things that they could potentially do in their entire goddamn life, they just take it and ruin it. Also, the talks, well, it's not the talks, I think it's pretty much confirmed, but Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be delayed. And they're pulling out of all the Japanese conventions, all of the Japanese marketing and everything. They know it's over. And they probably feared that Japan just flat out bans the ability to purchase Assassin's Creed in Japan.
Started, I believe, it's got 127,000 views as of when this article, it's probably way more now because this was posted September 22nd. And Shin here says, please spread the word. Assassin's Creed Shadows figures from Ubisoft, a famous Japanese hate and criminal company. They don't like Ubisoft after all of this shit that's happened with this game. A figurine of a destroyed Tory gate.
Oh, by the way, dude, Ubisoft is not only probably hated in Japan, but remember, Ubisoft also made Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was financed by the Philippines of all places. Or was it Thailand? Don't remember. One of these two. Which, as you can guess, is also kinda Asian. Yeah, and, well, Ubisoft completely dropped the ball on that one, so this is not even the first country that most likely dislikes Ubisoft in the East. Which is hilarious.
Has been released, which is believed to be based on the one-leg Tory gate that was destroyed in the Nagasaki atomic bombing. I've never seen a one-legged Tory other than the one destroyed by the atomic bomb in Nagasaki. Now,
yeah, same. It's probably the most famous one. Wait, actually, let me do it. Let me Google. Destroyed Torii Gate Japan. What does Images find? Actually, Images finds a bunch of them, but all of these are non-real. Well, they are realistic, but... strange, it doesn't even find this one. Which is the most famous one, which is kind of wild, honestly. Destroy Torii Gate Japan. One-legged Torii Gate Japan. When you write in one-legged Torii Gate in Japan, you instantaneously find it. But again, this is most likely a situation where Ubisoft just Googled famous things Japan, and this picture popped up. This is the first Google image that I get when I search one-legged Torii Gate Japan. So yeah.
As pointed out, there are more of these in Japan, but this is very much, from what I've seen, the famous one. This is the one that's famous. It's the one that people notice the most. A lot of big names have commented on it. Razorfist saying Ubisoft including an artifact from a nuclear detonation, a one-sided arch, and what promises to be the biggest bomb of the year. God is a stand-up comedian. We got another one here. Ubisoft just keep digging themselves deeper into the shitter. Here's one from Vera Dark.
Mommy,
Ubisoft has spent $500 million on game budgets before, so they either hired dollar store historians or are intentionally disrespecting Japan. There's no shot this meant.
I think they're intentionally disrespecting Japan. The Japanese are, for the left, the Japanese are nothing more than the worst kind of token, I would say. It's actually even worse than the typical leftist treats the average black person in America. The Japanese are even more tokenized than that, probably, in my honest opinion. Because they oh my god, look at the Asian hate, stop it. And then they look why it's happening. Oh, never happened. Boop, 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 boop. And they move on. Dude, they try so hard to just pretend that the Asians in Japan in particular are on their side. It's kind of crazy.
Many mistakes have been made. And she's not wrong there.
Anyone remember that video where some American housewives that are bored out of their minds and don't have anything to do because they don't have families went to some kind of Japanese historic thing where it was done by non-Japanese people, and they were doing, I don't remember what was it. It was the kimono and maybe some kind of geisha thing, but I definitely remember the kimono. And they were like, this is racist, stop it. And there's like Asian women there who are saying, yeah, we love that you're doing this. How do you like our kimonos and whatnot? And they're like excited, and all of the white miserable women are like, stop it. This is cultural appropriation. You must hate it. Man. The comedy just writes itself. Some people don't deserve human rights. That's pretty much the moral of the story.
Off the top of my head, there's two that I can think of. One was using the historian group's banners. The other big one was using the cultural... They used Chinese architecture in feudal Japan.
Oh yeah,
and then there's little things like Yusuke writing scrolls, like he's writing
we watched that video. This is not how you write in a scroll. That was funny.
Of their language symbols. He was writing them backwards, so you're supposed to start the scroll from the top down. He was doing it from the bottom up. And there's more than that. There's a whole bunch, actually. A lot of great videos out there in detail that go over the mistakes that this game has made. I highly suggest looking into it if you really want to. But they've made a lot of mistakes, and they supposedly hired a bunch of historians. Maybe instead of hiring
Bro, they probably hired Sweet Baby Ink tier historians. Okay, let's be real.
historians that validated your use of Yusuke. You should have gotten real ones that weren't, I don't know, like that one guy who's a communist, or Thomas Lockley,
Oh yeah.
huge SJW, or the one that did a lot of like sex studies. You should have got legit ones.
Well, they don't want legit ones because if they get a legit one, they're gonna just say none of this is right. It's like it's like Amazon getting an actual Tolkien scholar for the Rings of Power, and then he started saying, "Yeah, none of this is accurate. All of this is bad. The fans are gonna hate it." And they just fired him and replaced him with someone who says, "Ah, yeah, orcs have families. They are loving parents. After a hard day of hard-arring other races, they come back to their small orclings, pat them on the head, and kiss them goodnight."
Here's another one. Ubisoft.
It's all just so tiresome at the end of the day.
Use an atomic bomb relic for its marketing campaign. This is what DEI, that he has DIE money, buys a company. That's right. That's what it gets you.
Misspelling DEI as die. Oh, what a Freudian slip.
Ubisoft reviving WW2 bombings on Japan. Ubisoft needs to go bankrupt. Video game companies can't be led by woke ABD communist activists.
Dude, Ubisoft is going to be so in the shitter. Actually, I should probably short them. Because, dude, the moment Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out, it's just going to be down the drain. It's already down the drain.
There's one from Savvy. The consultants they hired were too busy focusing on transgenerational relationships and basing things off of a historical vandal. There, she's talking about Thomas Lockley and that woman. I can't remember her name, but she was into like her focus and expertise.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember also the woman's name, but man, she was one of the more insane ones.
Was like sex stuff and this transgenerational relationships.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the person that you should get for consulting on a video game. I'm sorry. Like, well, can you get somebody better?
Can you get
this
a
is why
real
when
person?
They say the dollar store historians thing, it's kind of true. The comments are interesting, and this was sad to learn this way. 3,000 people working on Assassin's Creed Shadows, and this is the best 3,000 people can do. Maybe fire the bloat, get some actual historians, and do better. I agree. It is kind of sad to learn this way. Like,
they're not going to do better.
I had no idea about this. I learned about this from this video. I had no idea what a Tory gate was, and I had to look into it.
I didn't know what was the point of these things. I understood that there's some kind of ceremonial thing because you can see them at, all the shrines and whatnot. So they definitely meant something, but I did not know what they actually meant. So the more you know every day.
It has mostly to do with shrines. It's where the gods enter. Kami comes in through the gate to visit the shrine. That's the gist of it. I could be wrong, but that's what I...
Yeah, Kami is just the word for God, I think, in general.
I saw...
Or gods.
And I read...
As in different beings that are God in nature.
Like 2 pages on it. So here's a lot of Japanese people on the post are talking about some of the shit that they're doing. Ubi has a history of using Japanese copyrighted material, national treasures, and cultural assets without permission in Assassin's Creed Shadows, so it's hard to say this is a complete stretch. At least Ubi is respecting Japanese history.
By the way, as long as they call this historic... They're using the Nobunaga crest that is copyrighted or something like that. So I hope the family, because it turns out they're still alive, their lineage is still here, sues them, because there is enough evidence that Ubisoft has said that this is a historically accurate game, which means, well, things. Or that it's not a historically accurate game, which still means that I hope they get sued. I really hope, because that would be hilarious.
Culture by splitting the Torygate in half, sarcasm, of course. They're not happy. They're not happy. This comment or this post is full of Japanese people clowning on Ubisoft, and rightfully so. They screwed this up once again. So I'm
pretty sure that's kind of it. Anyway, that was Yellow Flash 2, 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye.